Okay, hey guys, in this video, we're going to be building a news homepage. This was actually a Frontend Mentor challenge, but if you don't know what a Frontend Mentor challenge is, you can still follow along because the starter files are in the description down below. And what will you get by starter files? These images and some other things. So this is the website. It has hover states. It has a section of cards. And when we go down, it still has those, it's still centered properly, everything is aligned, and it has a responsive navigation bar with a backdrop. So we can test it at different phone screens, but actually I'm going to test it at 375. You can test it at 320. 320 are very small phone screens, and actually it still looks good. So if we test it at 375, it still looks good. Let's wait. Okay, that's it. That's the project that we're going to be building in this tutorial. Let's get started with it. So as I'm currently recording this right now, I think this video will be about 30 to 45 minutes long. Cross my fingers. I don't know how many it's gonna be, but I think it's gonna be about 30 to 45. So I want to know what it is after recording this video. Okay, let's get started. So just go to the description of this video, download the starter files. When you download the starter files, this is what you are gonna get. This is what you're gonna get, exactly like this. I have not even changed a single word. This is what you're gonna get. And one more thing too, maybe you can just consider subscribing at Tech Upfront. You can see the channel link. You can just consider subscribing. That's a bonus at 291 so far. So okay, so once you download the starter files, let's do this like this. Okay, click on go live. Okay, so this is what we get, just completely text. I'm supposed to turn that into this. Okay, so let's start. This is actually the project. You can see I actually pretty much tried. Okay, let's start it. Let's get started with the HTML, of course. So this is in a live development server, so when I refresh, it's going to show up there. So the first things first, we don't need the attribution. We're going to remove that. You can leave it there if you want to submit it to Frontend Mentor, but I'm not submitting mine. Okay. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna have a main to contain every single thing that's gonna have all this, every single thing the main is gonna be. Then the very first thing into the main is the nav bar. So the nav bar, as usual, we're gonna use the nav, and for that W sign that you see up there, actually we're supposed to use an A tag for this. We're gonna give an A brand dash logo. Returns to nowhere, and we'll just put the image like that. So image dot slash assets, and again this is all in the starter files. This is going to be logo.svg, right? Oh yeah, so we have that logo. Things are going great. Okay, so now we're going to have the image. So we're going to put all those, like, you know that there are how do I put it, there are all those menus that you see. We're going to just put them in, then later we're going to be dynamically controlling them. So dot slash assets. Still don't know how long this video is going to be. Still don't know. Okay, so dot slash assets, we're going to go into the images and icon dash menu dash close dot svg. Okay, that's the close navigation bar. Oh, sorry, we don't want the close, is not going to be here. Let me switch. Okay, we want that. Okay. Pretty good. Then we're gonna have a div. So you know what do I mean by backdrop? What I mean by backdrop extension is that when I open that responsive nav bar, you can see that the body, there's kind of like a black, the body is grayed out. As you can see, the body doesn't have a background of black, just that it's the body is, there's like a black overlay on top of it. Don't worry, you see what I'm talking about. So backdrop, and inside the backdrop we're gonna have a UL of nav links. I generally like to like when I'm making nav, but I don't have to URLs inside it. So now we're gonna have the image dot slash assets images icon dash menu close. And in this for the source files, I might leave them in the description below. I might definitely leave them in the description down below. So, oh my god, I've saved this. Darn it, I saved it. What I mean is that now everything is formatted. Ah, damn it. Because now, ow, everything is formatted. I don't want everything to be formatted, and I've been saving it since. Okay, let's just continue like that. Let's just continue like that. Okay, so now we have the image, right? This is where we are. Let's just continue like this. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to say li nav dash links. How many do we want to do? I think it's about 5. Then inside, so I just took a small break to go and check something, and I'll be okay. So I'm back. So we did the nav links, right? So each is inside a URL called nav links, and each of them is a nav link. Okay, sorry, it's supposed to be a nav link, not nav links again. That would be catastrophic. So we we have home, new popular categories. Yeah, new. We have popular, and we have. I'm just gonna copy because I'm quite lazy. Paste trending. We are already 6 minutes into the video, or even 7 at this point. Yeah. And I'm saying this video is gonna be 30 minutes long. Hopefully. Okay, I think we are done with the nav bar. Okay, so now that we're done with the nav bar, let's come to the to this part of it, to the second part of it, which is the hero section, which is essentially this section of the page. This down. So let's do that. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna say flex dash hero because we're gonna be using flexbox. Then the hero content. Then inside here, we're gonna have that image, of course, dot slash assets image images, sorry. Then image web 3 desktop. Now that we have that, so inside the hero content, we also want to have the hero text and some other things. So hero dash text. Inside here, we're gonna have the flex heading. The reason why there are so many divs inside of this because this is not an easy layout. The truth is that here and here are flexed. You get it? Then here and here are flexed. So that's why we have this flex heading. This flex heading for this one and this one. Hope you understand that. So this is gonna be the bright break tag, and this is also helpful sometimes. If I did this with CSS, would be the it will be more stressful. I'm telling you, of web 3.2. So I don't think so. There's even another break tag here. So B class, and you may be asking, why am I giving it a class of break? The reason why I'm giving it a class of break because at mobile we want one of the break tags to disappear. Yeah, so at mobile we want one of the break tag disappear. So inside the hero text, we want to have the div flex dash p, that stands for flex paragraph. So I can't copy this one. This one is a bit much. So it's from here. We dive into to fulfill promises. Okay, it's here. So what just happened? Okay, let's copy it. Let's Control X. Okay, we might not be able to notice it because there are so many. There's so much text underneath it. So inside Flex P, of course, this is going to be a paragraph, and we also want to have the button inside of here. So button read more. Okay, nice. So after that, now we want to have the hero side now. So how are we gonna do this? Okay, this is what we want to have, this side nav here. And so inside here, we're not gonna have it here. We're not gonna have it inside hero text. That's not possible. Okay, I think we're gonna have it inside of hero content. Oh yeah, no, flex hero. Hero side nav. But everything inside of flex hero has to do with this side of this part. This is the flex hero. Because we're not going to give the flex hero a display of flex to flex this and this, and we're going to flex this and this. So there's going to be flex box everywhere, guys. So what we want to do is that we want to have the h3 new. This video is not going to be 30 minutes long. Card, but I'll try to be much faster. So inside the card here, we're going to have hydrogen versus electric cars. Then inside of here, we're going to put a paragraph. Will hydrogen catch up to electric cars? Paste. Then we're gonna copy. The next one is the power. The downside. Okay, where's it? The downsides of AI. Okay, I think it's the downside of AI artistry. So copy this. Sorry, is the downsides. I'm just gonna type it since it didn't paste properly. I'm just gonna type the downsides of AI artistry. So I think don't know if that's spelled correctly, but I don't think it's important. So the description here is what are the possible adverse effects of demand on demand AI generation. Okay, now for the final card. Okay, so the final card is this coming up? Sorry for that. So let's paste that. Okay, and it's private. Okay, look at hence I think this is where it stops. Ah, so finally we're almost done. So what we have to do now is just this section, and I think this section is not very hard. We just have a section of cards again. Once we do one, we duplicate them. We will once we do one, we'll just copy and paste them. So let's quickly start. So section. Inside the section, what do we want to have? We want to have cards, right? So we can give it a class of cards. Section class of cards. Then inside here, we're gonna have the card. Inside the card, we're gonna have image dash con. I'm sorry. Image dash con. Inside here, we're going to have the image. The image first one is dot slash assets slash images slash. The first one is retro PCs, I think. Then inside here, we're going to have the section text. Inside section text, we want to have a h3, which I give it a class of special number 01, because this is not a normal number. The number is big, it has gray, and it has some spaces. So h4, h4 is reviving retro PCs. This is the heading. P tag. What happens when PCs are given modern upgrades? Okay. So save that. So from here, we want to duplicate this 3 times. So we want to copy. Okay, so the second one is I think the second one is top laptops, and the last one is of course gaming growth. So let's make sure those are showing up. Okay, nice. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna change this to O2, and O2 is top 10 laptops in 2022. Okay, top 10 laptops in 2022. Okay, so our various needs and budgets. One those top 10 laptops in 2022 might even be curious. You know what? I think Razer Blade and like Alienware are gonna be there, of course. Okay, so number 3, we have the growth of gaming. Okay, and how the pandemic has sparked up fresh opportunities. Yep, the COVID-19 pandemic. What a crazy pandemic. So now we are done with the HTML. Thank God. Phew. So we finished the HTML, right? Okay. Let's just go through it and check if we made any mistake. Okay. Everything seems good. Wait. This is mobile. So this is supposed to be desktop. Phew. That would have cost us a lot. I'm telling you, it would have. So I have already linked my CSS file here. Make sure you link yours. I have my CSS file here. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to import the font. So font face. So okay, this is how we import font. The way we import fonts is by doing this. If it's not Google Fonts, okay, then we give it font family, and this could be anything you want. I'm going to give it Interfont because that's the name of the font, and it doesn't has to be the name of the font. Then source. It's in our assets folder. Fonts / static / regular, and now we give the body margin 0. Then we give it that font family of what we defined, Interfont. And now the font has changed. Just so you know, is that we are giving this, okay, where is it? Okay, this class of close button. So I might have, just in case, we're giving that a class of close button. Just okay. So I didn't thought maybe I forgot to tell you guys. So close button. All you want to do is I want to give this a display of none. Okay. The main. What do you want to do? The main max width 960 pixels and margin is 0 or 2. Okay, now everything is centered. But don't worry, I promise we'll keep this image on our check. But before we keep the image on our check, let's do the navbar. So navbar, display flex. Let's get rid of this navigational button quickly. So what does it has a class of? Menu. So let's get rid of the menu quickly. So menu, by default, the menu is gonna have a display of none, and that's gone. So nav UL, we're gonna use display flex. We're gonna give it list style none. I'm sorry if there's any background noise. I think that's gone now. So we're gonna give it list style none. Then the allies themselves, I'm gonna give them a margin of just 10 pixels. In the navbar, we want it to be justify content space between. So let's go to the flex hero. So you know that the flex hero is basically contained out of two parts. Flex hero is everything from this image to here. So if we come to the HTML, the flex hero is a flex hero. If we open up the flex hero, it has hero content and hero sidebar. And hero content is this top, while hero sidebar is all this hydrogen versus electric cars, is VC dying up, and the downside of AI artists. So we want to give everything there display flex. We want to give it justify content space between. What this will do is you space it okay, let's attend to the image very quickly. So flex hero image max width 100%. So you can see now it's flexing this everything inside that container, this and the sidebar essentially. So let's continue. So I think we should the sidebar, we need to do the sidebar quickly. So let's do the sidebar. Wait, one more thing with 100%. Make sure it takes that. But that's not necessary because divs by default normally take up 100%. So side nav, hero side nav, margin left 30 pixels. Actually 20. This space here. Margin left 20 pixels and a background color. And the color is inside the style guide. And I think it's this color. Is it? Or let's give it a color of white. Yeah, maybe a padding of about 20 pixels or 15 pixels. Then let's give everything a line height 24 pixels. This line height property is very confusing, but what it just essentially means, it just line height is the space between the text, like from this text here to this text here. It is not margin. So hero dash side nav paragraph. The paragraph is supposed to be green, not white, as you can see. And one more thing is that it's supposed to have a border bottom. So border dash bottom 0.5 solid gray. When I think about it, I think this video is going to be 1 hour long because padding bottom 10 pixels. Those styles are basically self-explanatory. Hero text. Hero text is just the future of Web3 and the paragraph and the readme. So display flex, justify content, space between. Then what we're going to do is going to give it an align items or center. So flex P, which is the paragraph, remember, with 50% since it's taking everything. While the flex heading, the H2 needs to be way bigger. I think we should have used the H1, but don't worry, we can programmatically control the font size to be 45 pixels. Make it bold. Font weight 700. Actually, I was supposed to use a bold font for that, but with that can be done at the end of the video. So border none, outline none, very key principles of styling a button. These are my number 2 styles. Then the other most important one is the padding. So in any case, whatever padding you're giving it, make sure the first padding is smaller than the second padding. Like it could be 10, 20, 10, 15. So in this case, I'm giving 10, 14, 25. So width, and how do I know which one to use? Well, I just simply gauge it with my eye. Look at the button and be like, okay, I just try multiple values in my head, then I might get it. So color white, then background color. I think the background color it is red, right? Boom. You can see it kind of looks like the button here, but because the button here is a bit too long, so let's give it 200. So it kind of looks like it, just with some minor key differences. And those are font size 16 pixels and letter spacing 2 pixels, maybe even 3. Looking good. So the hero side nav H3. What do we want to do? Well, simple. We just want to give it a color of orange. Maybe we can give it some like some that's a sneaky trick when you want to look at your history or clipboard history. I'm not going to tell you guys. Yeah, if you want to know, just subscribe. If you're watching up to this point of this video, you have to subscribe, man. Like seriously. 30 pixels. Like if I told you how many times I've recorded this video, you won't believe me. Like I think this is the third time. The first time I think was about 40 minutes or so. This is the third time. So if you please, I'll beg you, please, I beg you, subscribe. So the section now, section or section.cards doesn't matter, just because there's only one section on the page. So we're gonna give this display flex and a margin top 20 pixels. Now we want to do the section image. What do? Max width 100%. Bam. Okay, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. I guess that trick doesn't always work all the time. 100 pixels. Bam. Looking small. Now the card, not cards, card, which is the individual one. Display flex. Okay. Now for the special numbers, display flex. Maybe we could give it a width of 400 and justify. No. Align item center. You can see that makes it centered in the y-axis. If we give it justify content space between, it won't do anything. So special number. which is the 1, 2, and 3. So what do you want to do? Color gray, but the gray wants to give it an opacity of 0.5. Yeah, so the gray is is the opacity is 0.5. Just because it took me some time to discover that. Margin 0. We So let's go to the section H4. What we could do here is that we could give the margin of 0. Actually, it's supposed to be section. There's no section class. And line height. We're going to give it line height instead of margin. Line height 30 pixels. And this H, it looks a little bit cramped, so margin dash bottom 30 pixels. So what am I saying? 10 pixels. That's small. So we're going to define some classes: lock, overflow, hidden. And these are states for when we activate our responsive navigation. Back drop. Remember, this is inside something called backdrop. Inside this backdrop, we're going to give it display flex, which doesn't do anything. Well, what just happened? Let's come here. Hero said nav. So what did we do? What did we do? Why is the hero side nav all messed up? Let's examine. You should always know how to examine as a developer. So let's look at it. It's not Flexbox that is causing this. That is at least. Oh yeah, this also has a div of card. So we can't just say card, we have to say section card. So the card that's inside the section essentially. Here. I got my heart racing there. Yeah, so I said we're going to define some classes for states for when the navigational bar occurs. So there's one last thing. This space here. The card, the image, section image, we give it a margin right 10 pixels. And that should solve that for that. So we have perfectly designed the desktop view. Let's go to the mobile view. So let's see how long this video is. No, you know what? We'll check it at the end. I hope it's no more than 45 minutes. So now, if you see it's not good, so you get the point of. So I'm not going to go through that. You get the point of a mobile view. What do we want to do? First of all, in no particular order, to close the button. Okay. We want it to be visible. Display block. We want the body. We want to cancel out in case there are any unpleasant scroll bar, overflow, X hidden. Okay. Backdrop, which is the backdrop, we're going to give it a display of none first. Yeah, we're going to give it a display of none. So are you going to see okay, sorry, you're going to see everything there disappear. Yes, everything is going to come out in the end. So just trust me and follow along. Okay, display flex. Then we want to give it a margin bottom for some breathing room. Margin dash bottom 20 pixels. Okay, so flex here. So let's start making everything better now. Flex here, display block. Section dot cards is essentially this section. Okay, this display block, which is this. What we're going to do next is that we're going to give the hero text, so which is these two guys. Hero dash text display block. Hero side nav. Okay. Hero side nav. Margin is 0 because we're giving it margin 20 pixels, but we don't want any unnecessary margin. Then the main we're gonna give it a width of 100%. Okay, it was given a width of 960 pixels before. Section card width 300 pixels. Flex heading font size 20 pixels. See how that's looking. And the break, so break, which is that break tag that was here before, so we're just gonna give it a display of none. So that break tag, now one break tag is gone, so that it looks like it's on mobile according to the design. So the button, what I want to do is I want to give it a margin bottom of 10 pixels. Then the section dash text, I want to give it margin left 20 pixels. And this is essentially where this is, so there's a margin left here. So nav links, so to kind of see what we're styling, give me a sec. To kind of see what we're styling, let's remove this backdrop display first. Okay, so nav links with 200 pixels display flex. So we're gonna strip it out from that kind of desktop and turn it to a mobile view. So flex direction should be colon, not row. So now it's like this. A height of 700 pixels. Now to position it properly, we have to use position absolute. There's nothing hard here. It's absolutely positioned to the body, and like this we can use coordinates to kind of help us position where we want. So top minus 15 pixels. So you should start from a little bit off the screen. Where is it? Okay, don't worry, it's gonna come out. Right 0. So you should start from absolute right here. Opacity 1, and a background color of white. So what we're going to do is we're going to give our menu. We're going to give the image display block. Object fit, we're going to give it contain, so that it doesn't get stretched beyond proportions. Margin right, we're going to give this 40 pixels and maybe a width of 50 pixels. So nav link, I know everything's kind of not looking kind of good, but just bear with me. 20 pixels. That just gave it space here. Dot close btn. We're we should have given this before, but let's just give it width 30 pixels. Yep. And that's that for that. So what we have to do now is say backdrop, display block, position absolute, and we're going to give this a width of 100%, a height of 100%, and a background color of RGB 0, 0, 0, 0.1. Aha, so this is the backdrop. Actually, we're missing 1 0. So we can make it as dark as we want. We can increase the darkness, and so it looks a little bit more darker now. So and we don't always want the backdrop to be like this. We want to attach it other class, then the backdrop is going to be like this. So when that show class is added to the backdrop class, that's going to apply. But first of all, okay, let's bring back this display of none. What I want to do something critical. So this there's no margin on the sides at all. So the way we can fix that is actually a clever way to fix it. Okay, with 90% margin 0 auto. That's what's going to save us today. So that does it on the flex hero. Now let's do it on the section cards, and boom, everything is properly aligned. So section, this only shows when the backdrop is shown. So now if we can even test it by ourselves, add a class of show, you can see it comes out nicely. So now let's do this JavaScript file. So I'm just going to do this inside the HTML because it's quite small. You can have a separate JavaScript file if you want, but I am not going to have a separate JavaScript file. You know, that's just how I've always kind of done it, because I don't like when the JavaScript is very, very small. I don't like attaching a separate file. I think the JavaScript is actually like 10 or 13 lines. So maybe you should make a separate file. So let's select a couple of things. Let menu btn equal to document dot query selector. Menu dash image. No, menu dash image, sorry, just menu. Let nav links, or rather, let's call a customer let backdrop equal to document dot query selector, and you guessed it, backdrop. Notice that the dot is very, very, very important because you just be selecting something else. The dot is saying that it's a class. It's like CSS selectors. Finally, let's close btn. Since we cannot use dash, we just use whatever case that is. Oh, damn it. Second, just give me a second, guys. What fell? Just give me a second. You know, I'll clean it afterwards. So, document the query selector. So, we're going to select the close button. Dot close. So now this is the menu button, right? So the menu button, we want to add an event listener. So this is going to detect a click. So whenever we click it, essentially, what do we want to do? Well, it's simple. What we want to do is that we want to add document the body. Remember that class of lock. And what does it do? It prevents the user from scrolling. Nice. So document the body dot add class list dot add lock. That's the first thing you want to do. while the backdrop dot style dot display, no, it has display none by default. We're going to set it to block, and we're going to say I'm going to add the show class. So backdrop dot class list dot add show. So if we test it out right now, yeah, I notice that the user can't scroll. Nice. So one more thing, let's make the close button. So the close button is going to be the direct opposite. So if it's a direct opposite, what do? Do we add direct opposites? You guessed it, we remove, right? So what do we do here? Now if this block is the direct opposite, we set it to none. You should be doing this by yourself. Okay, remove. So now, okay, now we have finally finished it, but wait, there's one last problem. The problem is, I'm just going to minimize this by the way. So the problem is, okay, let me show you the problem. This is not showing. Why? Okay, it's showing now, but when we go down, it's still showing. So when it stops showing is that when we click here and we close back, it stops showing. So how do we fix this essentially? Well, think of a solution. I'm going to end the video here. Actually, I'm going to tell you how to fix it. So how do we fix it? Well, it's very simple. We fix it with a simple media query. So media query, what are we going to do? If you say max width, you are wrong. It's going to be min width. Min width. So it's going to min width 961 pixels. And I'm going to explain this in a second. 961 pixels. Backdrop display flex. So let's explain. So what happens is that when we close it, we're setting it to the display of none. And when we come back here, it's still display of none. So the way to fix this is to make sure it overrides this, by the way. The way to fix this is to make sure that immediately after the user have left that small mobile phone screen, which is 961, mean which is above. From 961 pixels and above, we want to display of flex. So that should properly fix it now. So when we go back, we set it to display none, and we'll come back. It's not showing. Okay, wait. I'm not sure we've saved this. Okay, let's check it now. It should work. Wait. Why isn't it working? Let's just add an important. Make it to override any other thing. That's how you override any other thing. So we come back here, and now it works. Phew, now it works. And we can go back, goes. And that's essentially why it needs to be in a media query. Because if you just put important here, inside here, every single time is going to be a display of flex. It's not going to be able to override. But since it's in media query, it will only apply at some certain device viewports. So I think I'm going to end the video here. Don't still know how long this video is as a time of recording, because I had to make multiple takes of the video. A lot of effort was into this video. Right now there's even water on my leg. So please make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.